Hey everyone, Kevin here, and welcome back to my channel. So I realized the other day that it's been a while since I made a video specifically aimed at the transitioning teacher community and their issues, so here's my apology for that. But the conversation today will more take the form of a tough love discussion that kind of needs to be had. Specifically, that it is not an employer's job to see your value, rather it's yours to show them what value you do have. Now, I'm not saying employers aren't supposed to value you when you get hired. That's an entirely different conversation. The point I'm making is that just because you have skills doesn't mean that a company is going to recognize that you have skills. And while leaving education, you're going to be filled with a lot of strong feelings, ranging from anger over having to quit what was supposed to be your forever career to relief over leaving such a toxic environment. However, the worst feeling of all is inevitably the worry you have over being taken seriously in non educational roles. And unfortunately, it's easy to buy into the toxic positivity you see when first logging into LinkedIn and other sites, where people sell you on the notion that you have so much to offer inherently and that you can do much more than just be a teacher. And now that isn't wrong, and clearly you have great skills and abilities that can be of serious use to other employers. Hundreds of thousands of us have proven we can do more than just be teachers, and thankfully, the stigma of all you can do is teach has finally begun to dissipate because of that. However, unlike in teaching, where interviews were more concerned with seeing if you had the certifications and credentials necessary to be a warm body in the classroom, corporate roles want to see what you can bring to their company. In other words, the return on investment they get from hiring you. And I've said that many times before, but the difference here is that companies don't have the time to kill reading thousands of resumes from former teachers that just show their work experience in education with terms they don't understand, like IEP, or with those without any measurable results. They can't spend time trying to figure out how exactly your experience transfers over from education into the new role. They need to see how it does and what you've done to upskill since making the move out of teaching. You need to be clear and concise in regards to the value you have and can provide to them. On your resume, have clear and concise bullet points listing your accomplishments with actual statistics and percentages of how you created results as an educator. They need to see how you overcame common problems and what hard and soft skills you gained as an educator that translate over. For instance, time management is a soft skill for sure, and though not one you would traditionally put on a resume, you still use it to show how you met project deadlines with efficiency as a teacher, and how you manage complex and competing demands. This is particularly true if you want to go into the L&D field, for instance, where stakeholder management and short deadlines are an omnipresent problem to deal with. It's why so many teachers make good instructional designers, albeit with a bit of training to teach them what they need to know when it comes to those hard skills they need. Same goes for your personality. You might have an incredibly outgoing, collaborative, and fun outlook on life, but they want to see how exactly that helps them to make their stakeholders, learners, and clients happy. Specifically, define what you've done to address disagreements. Show instances where your collaboration resolved problems and how you've personally brought results. Let me boil it down for you, though. They need to know what problems you're qualified to solve and why, what impact you will bring, how that impact will create revenue or solve problems, examples of your successful work, aka your portfolio, and why you are a good fit based on the job description. Sure, there are other things to bring up in interviews to make yourself more relatable, such as stories about past successes or failures you learned from, and important life lessons you take into heart that made you a better person or worker. I related some of those in the interview that got me hired for my current role, actually. It helped even out the more informational stuff on my resume and portfolio, and clearly it helped. But most of this falls on your shoulders. You need to show your value in leaving the classroom, what you've learned through upskilling, and how that benefits them. That's really all it is when it comes down to it. And I want you to be taken seriously by employers, and sometimes this kind of tough love is necessary to accomplish that. I may love and respect your experience because I've been where you are, but that doesn't mean they have to. And that's what you need to keep in mind. But that's all for today. Thanks for listening, and as always, please don't forget to click like and subscribe to see more awesome content. Until next time, though, I'll see you in the next video.